Hello, my name is Tory Rose, or Victoria Rose, and I'm 43 years old. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm sharing today in hopes that maybe no matter what your age, whether you're younger or older like me, to help someone have the courage to come out and be themselves. Yeah, I decided to relocate from Texas to Massachusetts because I was experiencing persecution. When I came out as myself, I lost my work, my job, and I was unable to find a career role. I applied for over 3 years and I just could not land a job. It was so frustrating and beat me down, honestly. So I was able to secure work here within a matter of a couple of months of interviewing, and it just was a way better situation here, as well as Texas is starting to crack down on the trans community. The Department of Motor Vehicles and the driver's license office had just started a new policy where even if you have your court orders to change your name and your gender markers, they wouldn't recognize that. In fact, there are reports where they're taking those documents and copying them and creating a file and even creating a registry of trans people in Texas, which is extremely scary. And so I decided it was time to move away from there into a safer place. I knew from the time I was 4 I was trans, though I didn't know what it was called because I'm 43 and we didn't have the internet back then, can you imagine? And we didn't have the information. And so I knew that I was supposed to be a girl, but gender roles were so strict in my family and so there that I knew it wasn't something I should bring up because I was very afraid of my parents, very afraid of my father. And so I didn't deal with it. I was very alone and very isolated. And by happenstance, my mother was receiving a women's magazine. It wasn't even the one that she had ordered. And in one of those articles, about the time when I was 8 or 9, there was an article in it about a person who was grown that was dealing with the same type of thing. And as I read that article, I felt so seen, and I had information finally about what this is. And I had snuck clothes and articles from the back of my mother's closet and the back of her drawer and other feminine items. And so I was like, now I need to have this conversation. So I brought it up to her, and let's just say it didn't go well. And I was scared she'd tell my dad, he'd kill me. So I just was scared straight, so to speak, and didn't bring it up again until I was 13. And the dysphoria had gotten so bad. And around that time, I was starting to go through changes and things. And uh, I brought it up again, and again, it didn't go well. And she threatened to tell the pastor. I didn't want him to know. She threatened to take me to a counselor, and back then, only the granola crowd went to counselors, the fruits, the flakes, and the nuts, and I didn't want to be part of that crowd. And again, I was scared to death. She'd tell my father, and he'd kill me. And so I just buried it again, just thinking it wasn't in the cards for me. And so I'd always felt a call to serve others, uh, and we grew up in church, and so I surrendered to go do ministry and went to Bible college and all that type of stuff. And the theology was taught to me, the doctrine that if you serve God and you really submit your life to Him, He'll take those things away. And yet they never did go away. And I ended up having a Zoom session, or actually a FaceTime session, with a lady named Lisa who had a similar background to me. And in that conversation, I realized this doesn't go away. And then in my life, I decided to make some shifts. And in that, I came out again to my parents and came out publicly. And it's so crazy. I was 41 years old at that point, and my mom thought it was just a phase. For me, coming out in public was a really scary thing. Being trans was the biggest secret of my life. It was the thing that I hid, the thing that I didn't want anyone to know because I was so ashamed. I was so afraid of it. A guy named Andrew, he was probably my best friend outside of work, and he's pretty conservative. He's in law enforcement. He grew up as a missionary kid, and we sat down one day for lunch, and I told him about it, and I didn't know how to respond. And he looked at me in the eyes, and he said, "This changes nothing." And I was just shocked by that. And so there have been those moments as well, though I will say there have been very few of those. For the most part, I lost all sense of my community. Um, I have people who wish me well, but I lost my tribe. There are people who I know love me or care about me, but I used to have people I could call on a Tuesday and go have a drink with and spend time with, and I lost all of that when I came out publicly. I wish I would have come out and transitioned at least 10 years before, when I had come out uh, to some other people in my family when I was around 30. I wish I had transitioned in. I think I would have been able to salvage some relationships that I since haven't been able to with friends and family because of another decade of not being able to process through that with them. I just wish I wouldn't have waited. I'll tell you, I lost my jobs. I lost my income. I lost my home. I lost my family. I lost my tribe because I didn't have people or resources to help fill those things. And if you're afraid that those things are going to come to pass, and as I speak to a lot of trans people online and they message me, they echo those fears that those things are going to be lost in their lives. And you know what? They might. They might be. But I want you to know that I'll be your tribe. Take that step to become authentically who you are. And don't wait like I did. That'd be my one piece of advice for you.